Thanks for joining us, everybody. Joined by junior men's swimmer Ravi Sun and All-American ECAC swimmer of the meet. Multiple honors over his 3+ year or 2+ years at Stevens. Ravi, thanks for the time and thanks for giving this a shot.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
Coming down the stretch run, you've had a great year to this point. Multiple swimmer of the weeks. ECAC swimmer of the weeks. All sorts of honors early on. Where are you at individually? How do you feel your season's been going? And then take it a step further, how do you feel the team's doing?
Well, individually, the season's been a success. I made nationals early on, so it's allowing me to focus and train for March. NCAA's. Really excited to see how that goes, so I can score points and get the team to a higher place. And I really like how the team's been developing. Our freshman class is looking really good. They came and we had a pretty loaded one, so they really helped out in a lot of dual meets this season, especially first semester. We had a tough NYU invite, and we've had a pretty past dual meets have been pretty tough against like Hopkins and TCNJ, but they swam well. Really looking forward to how they're going to do at conference, and the rest of the team, especially the junior class, has been coming along pretty well. Sophomores too. So really looking forward to the end of the season. The team should do really well at conference and nationals.
What are your do you guys have tangible goals coming into next weekend and the conferences? Do you have a specific goal for nationals, or is it just kind of let's improve our times and the things will take care of themselves?
I think the goal going to next weekend is definitely to win. Last year, we've won for the past 2 years, so I think the goal of this year is just to win big. Everybody needs to win their individual events. We need to be dominating. Show Empire 8's who's the best team.
It's always amazing to me, and you got to listen to an interview before with Brittany Geyer. It's just always amazing to me how long the season is. And you mentioned how early that you qualified for nationals, so almost that relieves a little bit of, I guess, pressure off you. But is it tough, let's say, when did you officially qualify at the F&M invite, or was it?
Yes, the F&M invite.
So you qualified for that in, I want to say early November, maybe. I think that might have been the second or third competitive event that you guys had. How do you stay motivated for so long? So November. So you've achieved what the main goal in November, so December, January, February, and then March. It's just constant practice all the time. How are you motivated to continue to improve? Yeah. I see you in the weight room all the time, stuff like that. It's got to be a little bit of a drag.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. The answer to your question is my teammates. Day in and day out, we're racing each other, motivating each other. I know, Tommy Walensky's always yelling at people, come on, get up, go faster. We're trying to win and do our best. So that's how all of us stay motivated throughout this entire year, from September all the way till March. It is a long season, but we're all in it together.
That's an awesome answer, and you can kind of go a little bit further. The team dynamic, it always amazes me, especially with how individual the sport is. How do you kind of nurture those freshmen that you've spoken so highly of earlier? How do you kind of nurture them, even though you're focused on what your goals are and your events? How are you working and motivating your teammates to continue to get better?
I think the best way to motivate people is to lead by example. You can say and tell them what to do, but I think the best way is for them to see how it's done, working hard in practice, good form, working hard in the weight room, and just being a good teammate, so they see how it's done.
If you were, you're a junior now, if you were as a freshman, what's one, maybe two things that you wish that you had as a freshman that you now know, that you think might have, made things easier for you at that point?
I definitely say going into championship season, I wish I would have known just to relax a little bit more. I was so nervous. Like, oh, I was worried about, like, what if this happens? Like, what if our relay doesn't qualify? And I just wish to relax a little bit more. Like, we've put in the work all year, and that'll speak for itself when we taper and we go to conference in Webster in a week and a half.
You're from Arkansas. How did you end up in Hoboken?
I've known Laura Berto since we were kids. She's NCAA Woman of the Year here and won 2 national titles. So we grew up together, swam for the same club team, and we trained together in the summer. So after she went to college and she came back, she started telling me about Stevens. So that's what initially piqued my interest. And I've always really liked engineering, so that I just looked for really good engineering schools, and that's how I found Stevens.
I'll ask this in probably almost every one of these that we do, but if you're speaking to a recruit, Coach Thornton's best recruit on the men's side, how are you in, 10, 15, 20 seconds? What are you selling about Stevens to get that recruit to come?
I'd tell him that Stevens has given many people, including me, the best mix of academics and athletics possible. You can get whatever you want out of this school and whatever you need.
I think that's a pretty good sell there. Nice work. Next one for you. So, tons of time in the pool. Many days. You're practicing in the morning, you're lifting and practicing again. 3 sessions sometimes. A couple times a week, and then you're obviously competing. Tons of work in the classroom on the engineering side. I think that might be intimidating for some people to hear. Like, man, what about some other stuff? What's your favorite non-commitment type thing that you can do? Whether it's the city, whether it's, walking around Hoboken, going skiing, whatever it is. What are some things that you do socially, with your buddies or even just, by yourself to enjoy the area?
I have to say I do a lot of things like de-stress. I volunteer at the local hospital here. That's pretty relaxing. You get to see the diverse community that our school's in, and something like a little bit less like that's still work though. But I really like hanging out with my friends, reading. Just
so you're saying
watching
when
TV
you're hanging
like
out
a
with
normal
your friends, you guys are reading?
Oh no, of course not. Just hanging out. Just like a normal college kid.
Now, have you guys, or do you specifically, you started with on-campus housing, now you're still on campus? Do you guys go off, do you off-campus housing? How does that work for living?
Well, swimming, we have morning practice, I'd say most every day of the week. So most of us live on campus, but there are a few of us that live off campus. It's just kind of inconvenient to walk from off campus to the pool in the winter. It's pretty cold.
Yeah.
So
you're talking to a person that hasn't driven for 6 years for the most part, and it does get cold.
yeah.
When you're reading, I'm a big reader myself, especially in the summer. What are some pleasure reading that we've been doing?
Well, I really like Game of Thrones. That's like the last book series I've read, and besides that, not really. Those books are huge. So.
Have you watched the show?
I have.
Are you one of the people that gets frustrated with the show, or can you kind of separate the two and appreciate each for what it is?
Yeah, I appreciate like both the book and the TV show. The TV show that helps you visualize like, what you see in the book. It's pretty cool.
Your favorite spots to eat, or your type, what are we eating when you're, whether maybe you go home to Arkansas, your parents are making you an awesome dish, what are you eating? Or when you're, you a big dinner or a celebratory dinner or something in Hoboken, what kind of food are we eating? Don't Brad, you don't have to worry, you can say something absolutely horrible for yourself.
I'm not much of a person for like the fancy like sit down restaurants. I like going to Mamoon's, Gio's, places like that. Carmen Cafe has really good chicken soup. So back home, when I go back home to Arkansas, I'm all about the fried chicken and the ribs. So back home, not so healthy. Here, I try to maintain like a good like diet, just to keep myself ready for swimming.
What other sports, if there were other sports, do you have interest in? Swimming takes up so much time, especially on the college level. I mean, the season is so long. September to March, especially for guys like you. What other sports would do you enjoy? Maybe enjoy watching on TV? Maybe none. Where do you fit in on that level?
I'm a big college football fan. I'm a big Arkansas fan. Personally, I have to be honest. I'm terrible at every other sport. I have no hand-eye coordination, so it's all swimming or nothing. Maybe a little bit of water polo.
It was swimming from what age?
Age 5.
Wow.
So I've been a lifelong swimmer. That's all I know how to do.
When you graduate from Stevens and maybe you're not swimming as competitively or consistently competitively, do you expect to stick in, continue to swim? Or will it be like, oh man, that was a long 15, 16, 17 years of swimming, I'm going to take a break?
After I call a career, we'll have to see. I'll probably take a little bit of time off, but after the weight gain, I got to find something else, find something to do. So I'll probably pick up masters swimming or just casual swimming. So we'll have to see.
Well, I enjoyed it. I felt like I learned a little bit about you, and hopefully the listeners did as well. Empire 8's coming up February 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. And then a month later, you're heading to Nationals. I wish I had the location off the top of my head. I bet you know where that is.
It's in Shenandoah, Texas.
Heading to Texas for Nationals. Real quick, your individual goals for Nationals. Is it something like a national title? Is it top 8s? Is it time improvements? What?
I think my goal is just to score as many points as possible. Last year we had a small drop off, but this year we're looking to get back into the top 10. So that's the goal.
Well, we'll all be watching. Hopefully you guys bring home the Empire 8 title again. It's especially sweet when you guys do it, especially without a diving team and sacrificing those diving points and still coming away with the titles. It amazes me every single time. Best of luck there. Best of luck in Texas, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Joined by junior men's swimmer Ravi Sun and All-American